Hello and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
And audio listeners, you will notice there is no gap in today's episode because we had a buffer zone. Live listeners, there is a big gap. Let me tell you why.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks worth. I mean, so let's tell the audience, of course. I mean, you could probably already tell.
By him. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not bad right now.
Yeah.
You're not bad at all. You'll notice there's, I might be coughing throughout today's episode. I apologize in advance for that. I'm going to do my best not to, but I can't promise anything. Because last week, let's rewind 2 weeks ago. You were out of town.
Yes, I am out of town, which you will get to when we get to that segment.
Yep.
Which was a fantastic trip. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Yep.
I come back. You're under the weather.
Yep.
I'm under the weather.
Yeah.
I literally get a sinus infection the Monday after I get back. I got back on a Friday, and next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I feel it on Sunday. Go to my doctor immediately on Monday, and she's like, you got it again? I'm like, yep. She checked me out. She's like, sure enough, you have another sinus. My right side of my face was all swollen.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Like, I don't wish ill upon you. And I don't want, but I know this is about to sound like I'm about to. But I'm glad you were sick, and I'll tell you why. Because I was also under the weather, from that Friday prior.
Yeah.
The day you returned, my throat was scratchy. It was a little itchy and stuff. I was like, okay, no big deal. I probably just been too loud at work or whatever. And
you're just loud in general.
Yeah, sure. I might have blown my voice a little bit.
Hence
but
the shirt.
Too bad. And then, yeah, right? Every day's a good day for board gaming. And then that Saturday came around, I did my normal work. I was like, man, my throat's hurting a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But it was that very clearly, like, this isn't just hurting because it's hurting. This is hurting because something's up, right? And then so, we'll go over like the outside of gaming here in a bit. But oh my goodness, like that hit me.
Oh my goods.
Oh my goods, yeah, great game. That hit me like a ton of bricks. So when I hit you up on Monday, I was like, hey man, under the weather, not feeling it. Sorry, and you're like, yeah, same here. I'm not feeling too great. Let's postpone it. Cool, no problem.
We were going to try to do Tuesday, but both of us were still feeling horrible on that following Tuesday.
Yep.
And I'm just like, we got a buffer. We'll wait till next week.
Exactly. Exactly. No,
my face was still swollen. I'm like, I don't want to get on camera with a swollen nut. Like, all right here was just swollen, like underneath my sinus, and this thing, I was like super puffy here and normal here, and it just looked weird.
So much to the point where you even canceled our game night that week, and even then I was like, I hope I'm feeling good enough for it, but even then that day, if I was honest with myself, I'm like, I'm really not feeling that great for it.
And then I texted, and you're like,
yeah,
cool.
Now I know. Totally fine with that. So, yeah, I mean, that...
And to be truth be told, I felt better on that Wednesday, and I could have done game night, but I'm like, we have this thing planned on Sunday anyways. Let's just give me another day to just rest.
That was going to be worth it.
Relax,
right.
Yep. Because... just to let everybody know, this past Sunday, both me and our friend Gamehead Geek, we have birthdays at the end of this month, decided the best way to celebrate our birthday is to play board games. That's all we want to do. So I cooked up some food, we played some board games, played 6 games. You and Damn It Dom, I don't know if you guys decided this somewhere outside the thing, because both me and Gamehead Geek were surprised on this. You guys were like, we didn't bring anything. This is your guys' day, so you pick the games.
So, no, we actually decided that more or less independently, but we didn't even decide it. Like, But I know me and Dom had the same idea, right? When he was like, hey, do you want to bring anything? Or you want me to bring anything? And you were like, no, we have games, so either way.
No. He just said he wanted him to learn anything. I'm like, well, you learn what you want. I'm going to learn
I said bring.
Bring what you want. That's the thing. And I'm like, I'm going to learn Vantage. That's the main thing I'm going to learn. Other than that, we'll play it by ear. It's like the big one I want to get played is Vantage.
Well, with that comment though, is that when we decided that, we're like, I know what Dom thought. He was like, well, you know what? We're meeting up for the birthdays anyway. If there's 2 people really who should be picking the games, screw it. You guys pick this time around.
Plus, you guys are like probably like, well, we don't have to learn anything. We're good.
We're good. I brought like that one game that I had. That I just recently like watched a video on how to play. Yeah. And it looks cool. I might play it pretty soon. But,
I was the king of card games that day, and he had the G.A.M.E.R trash games.
Yeah, we killed so many things with dice. And the game I brought was a G.A.M.E.R trash boss battler. Like. based off an American video game. Like there was no not like Ameritrash about it.
I had 2 Thunderworks game and of course Vantage, which is just straight up a card game. They're big cards, but it's just cards and dice.
Yeah.
But even then, it's kind of more Euro-y than it is actually like a Ameritrash game because you're gonna get your check anyways. So
right.
But keep an eye out. We might do a review of Vantage. I want to dig into it a little bit more, but that one game was just fantastic.
Did you see the Dice Tower review of it?
I love how separate they were on there. It's like 2 of them were like, ugh, and 2 of them were like, this day is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I totally get like all the perspectives.
Yeah.
But normally I align with Chris Yee really well.
That one you're like, nope.
But I think I'm more of a Mike Delisio guy. Like I think I really align with his stuff really well.
I'm on the track mind with Tom when he's talking about it because I've been wanting a game where it's like, oh, you want to go look over there? Go look over there. All right, cool. I'm going to go look over there.
Right. And you know how much I like exploring games, right? I mean, it's like, who cares what's happening? Like,
I want to go see what that does.
That hit the same kind of like bells in my mind that Time Stories did when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, I'm really intrigued by what this can do.
I literally, when I was playing it, I was thinking this is like a combination of Time Stories where you're dealing with the artwork and trying to describe it to your opponents. In a video game like Skyrim, Tom Vassell brings that up all the time, or anything like Bethesda or Elder Scrolls. I barely ever finished the game because I'm always like, ooh, what's in here? Let's go check this little place out over here. Or like, I'm about 70 hours in Oblivion, and I think I've only done a third of the main story in that game because I had just gotten the new Elder Scrolls Oblivion like when it first came out because I have a Game Pass on my Xbox. Yeah, and I'm like, I played that much of the main story, but I've got 70 hours in the game from exploration.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I could probably say that I've beaten all of the main quests and all of the side quests.
Skyrim?
Of Skyrim, yeah.
Yeah.
I played the entirety of Skyrim, which is very rare that I play a video game to that depth.
That level, yeah.
But, oh man, did I put hours into it, playing it constantly.
The same way with me. I've constantly played Skyrim. I mean, that was literally the game that I played for probably 6 months to a year. It's like I would just pop it on, go explore something, and if I got a new game, I play that game for a little bit, and then I go back to Skyrim and to go explore something. Yep. I think I easily put close to 150 to 200 hours into Skyrim.
Easily.
And it took me around I'm like, okay, I've done a lot here. Yep. How about we go back to the main story? And I found it funny because I'm so super over leveled when it comes to the main. I've done the DLC. I've done all this before I even completed the main story.
All the darn guard stuff.
Yeah.
I was a part of every single guild.
Exactly, yeah.
All of it. I love some of that. So that's what I was looking for with Vantage. I was like, okay, if this, like, I don't really care about, like, the point of the game.
Same. I want to explore.
I just want to go, like, mess with stuff. Like my gamer side of me wouldn't have done half of the stuff that I did in that game.
Yeah. I like the fact that it wasn't on rails. It just let me do whatever you want. It's funny because in the rule book, in the Watch It Played video, it's like, we're teaching you the basics of the game, but the game is do what you want kind of thing. You're never going to fail a check or something like that. There just maybe damages and stuff.
Right.
Because you're always going to surpass it, and it's always going to move the story forward. And I like that because I'm like, ooh, this is cool. Sucks that I've lost that much time, but this is cool. Or the way Dom kept beating up on this one part of thing over here, and it's like, if I just did this, I would have been fine.
Yep. Problem solved.
Yeah, but outside of that, why don't we talk about outside gaming, since, we both got sick, we both did stuff. How about we talk about yours, because I'm going to be talking a lot about mine.
You're going to be talking a lot about yours. So, we joked a couple episodes ago that it was the gauntlet of birthdays. and I've talked about that already quite a bit. But just because the week-long stretch of birthdays, both of my kids and my wife both have birthdays in the same week. We've talked about that plenty of times before.
It's like, 8 days apart?
Yeah, 8 days apart. Well, also on the 10th, which is just 9 days after my daughter's birthday, right? It's my father-in-law's birthday. So that was the first day I was really kind of feeling under the weather, but we're like, okay, we'll just try it out, see what happens. Yeah. Took some medicine. We went to El Paso and spent the day there. West Texas Chop House.
That was your first mistake, going to El Paso.
Well, I mean, it was worth it for him.
I know.
But West Texas Chop House, I got to say, I am loving that place. Oh my God, the food is so good.
That's the one by Airway?
Yeah, there's one on Airway. Yeah,
Okay.
Right by the Dutch Bros.
Yep.
Shares the parking lot. Just for El Paso listeners.
Yep.
Go to Dutch Bros. They get some West Texas. Good stuff. But then after that, like we were buying for time because we were going to take him to the Alamo Draft House, which is the first time he'd ever been there.
Oh, okay.
And he's a movie guy. You know, he really enjoys movies. And there was a new horror movie that I had never heard anything about that both him and my wife were curious about. It's called Weapons.
Oh yeah, I heard good things about this one.
So. I won't go into spoilers on Weapons, but I will talk a little bit about it. But the Alamo Draft House, for those of you guys who don't know, is basically like a brewery a draft house, and they have like a full-fledged restaurant, but it's a movie theater at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you order your food from the tables if you want to, and you can eat there, and they give you full meals, and the food is fantastic there.
And they'll deliver popcorn and everything too.
Oh yeah, like you could just get an unlimited bowl of popcorn. This is a massive thing, and the funny thing is. They have like these old school videos that they turn into like infomercials kind of thing as the trailers that are playing in between the movies. Have you been to Alamo Draft House, right?
It's been a while. I think the last time I was there was when Finding Nemo 2 came out.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so they really appreciate like having ridiculous over the top like they try to feel like a retro movie theater, all campy and cheesy. And there was this one, like, it was like a music video from, like, an old film, and it was in a different language, and, like, it was, like, this little, like, elementary school rock band, like, rocking out, like, kids, like, maybe 10 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the main girl who's singing, she's, like, cussing up a storm, and the subtitles are just, like, you know, just long
Stars.
expletives. Yeah. No, it said it.
Oh.
And both of my kids were there watching this, like, what is going on? You know, it was just the weirdest thing, and it was so hilarious. And, but then the movie, Weapons, so I knew nothing about it, right, going into it.
I only heard a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So.
10 minutes before we went into the theater, my wife told me, like, just the bare bones premise of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what it is that ultimately, like, it's about well, not really about, but it's about a mystery that happened in a school where this woman had 18 students, and one day, all but one of her students turned up missing.
Yep.
Completely gone.
That's all I know about.
And that's all you really need to know. The only thing that, and again, it's not really a spoiler, but just like the structure on how they did it, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They would play a segment of it where it's seeing it essentially telling the story from a different perspective, like a different character. They'd be like, oh, and of course it starts with the teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is what's happening with the teacher, and does a whole, like, storyline of hers. Then it'll go to a different character, and it's like, okay, here's their storyline. But then you'll notice the part where they overlap, right? Where they meet at one point or whatever. And then again, it would be a different character, and then you would see how, like, those kind of overlap. And it was kind of playing out, like, in a weird way, like a 15-minute movie from, like, a bunch of perspectives. Except, like, they didn't have it, like, real time or anything. Yeah. Like, it just, they had it over, like, you know, a span of time, whatever their storyline would make sense.
Yeah.
And it did a really good job of, like, revealing itself, like, as the story. Because in a lot of those, like, mystery movies, you can kind of tell, it's like, oh, they're the red herring. They're doing or they have this is obviously the person, right?
Yep.
And it was really intriguing on how they didn't do that because of the structure of the movie. I was impressed.
Nice.
Like, genuinely impressed.
I do want to check this one out. I've heard really good things about this movie.
I was very surprised by it. And the beginning of it was the director. I guess he was a sketch comedy guy from The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
And so he started talking about, like, it was like, you don't understand how ingrained sketch comedy and horror movies are. And then, so he brought up Jordan Peele, and then he brought up, like, a few other, like really well-known guys. But apparently, Alfred Hitchcock was part of a comedy troupe.
Yep.
And he invented the yes and.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How did I not know this? So, it was
yes
good.
And?
Yes and, right? If anybody is into improv, they know that. I wasn't, but I do know what it is, even though.
Yeah, I was more horror movies, but the fact that like, a lot of comedy and horror just kind of intermingle.
It does a really good job. It elicits emotion in
here's the thing.
A similar way.
One of my favorite genres in horror is horror comedy. So think something like Young Frankenstein or Dracula Dead and Loving It and stuff like that, where they incorporate comedy into horror movies. Like sometimes people love this movie and it's more gruesome than anything, but Terrifier does have some humor in that movie, even though it's supposed to be like campy style. Like one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies growing up, and still to this day, I remember showing it to my wife not too long ago, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My favorite thing to do is just watching random B-movie horror movies on a day, and it's just... is fantastic.
You know, it would be hard to hang out with you and not play video games, but we should definitely do like a B-movie day one of these days. I'd be all for it. Yes.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I do want to check that movie out.
Yeah, and on a side note, I do want to tell, I know it's not outside gaming, but I wanted to tell you about this. So I've been incorporating a game into my classroom, right?
Oh yeah, I was trying to guess earlier.
Yeah, so
Is that even close anywhere to what I was talking about?
Not really.
Yeah.
So... what we've been doing, I'm pretty proud of how this lesson worked out. I'm talking about digital citizenship, teaching how to be decent people online, how to use the internet effectively and safely, right? And all of these different things. And so I incorporated a game of Blob Party in my classroom. And the way I did it is, I printed out, I have a D20, a giant squishy D20 from my class. And I did 20... adjectives and 20 categories, right?
Yeah.
And I'd just roll it twice, and then that would make it then, and then play Blob Party. And if multiple people have the same answer, they get together in a group, and they can only give one answer. That's effectively how the board game Blob Party works.
Which is normally used by what Play-Doh. You're doing is like a Play-Doh and making the Play-Doh monster bigger.
Exactly. And the goal is to have it all one unit, right? Yep. And so we've been playing that in the classroom, and then when they all become one group, they all get super excited, right? But then it's the perfect sitting circle, and they've had some movement, and they've burned out some energy, right, which is important in a classroom. But then I can go sit right with them, and then we can have a serious conversation in that part of the classroom, talking about how words can be interpreted in different ways. Mm-hmm. And so the lesson I effectively teach is like, think about it. If I say like a dark fruit, what could you say, right? A dark fruit.
Plum,
right? And some people might say blackberry, right?
Yeah.
And then so I asked, like...
well, they said a better one than I did.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, and sometimes it would be really off-the-wall answers. And then, like, one of them was a big cartoon.
Yeah.
Right? And then one of the kids said Sonic. And the other kids, like, sneered. I was like, Sonic? He's not big. And they were like, no, he was, like, really famous. I was like, oh, a different perspective. Right, that's what he meant. He thought it was so popular.
Yeah, popular cartoon
that of course
in a sense. But yeah, big does...
so that led to the conversation. It's like, are any of these answers wrong? No. Could they have been seen different ways? Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. And then we talk about, like, can you determine tone through text, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm really excited to say, how could you do that? Like, that's really intriguing. Or, how could you do that? That's a very different thing, but I said the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty proud of how that discussion brought out, like, these are 4th and 5th graders, right?
Yeah.
That are talking about, like that really now start to understand. It's like, wow, what I say online or through text messages or by other means, that might be misinterpreted in a way I'm not intending.
Yeah.
And then that could be taken in a whole different way. I need to start being really cautious about that, which I think is a very valuable lesson. Yeah. Thank you to the designer of Blob Party for this, and WizKids for that lovely, like, inspiration that I've been using in my classroom.
Nice.
So that I got to give them a shout out, because that's where I came up with this lesson. And
you know why I didn't think of that?
Huh?
Because I still haven't played my copy of Blob Party. It's sitting over there.
It's pretty good.
I do want to try it out. I think I'm going to take it on my next game night with my other group.
Yeah.
But we've been playing the mess out of, like, Gloomhaven, trying to get that done, and playing some of our
slightly different game.
Yeah. Well, just trying to get through a lot of our campaign stuff. We just started a new campaigns because my buddy's been wanting to play something like the Harry Potter Hogwarts battle, because we played the mess out of that till we finished it.
So you brought Toy Story, huh?
And then when I bought Toy Story on the trip I'm about to talk to, I'm like, okay, I'll give you a choice, because I have also the Avatar one. He's like, let's do the Toy Story one, because that's going to get us prepared. We're about to go do another trip here soon, next month in September. So I'll probably talk about that specific trip in October, because by the time we get to Brainstorm in September, it's about the time where we're going to have a bubble again, because I'm going to be gone for a week.
Yes. You and your traveling, I tell you.
I know. It's funny. Before I get into this about my traveling here, my wife was making a joke. She's like, the last time I've had just been home, because she travels for work, has been in March. And I'm like, well, stop booking all our vacations for travel then. I don't know why you're complaining to me. You're the one that wants to go to all this place. I wanted one place. I wanted to go to Chicago. That was the one thing I wanted to do. And she's like, we're going here. And then we did Chicago. And then we're going to Colorado. And then we're going to Orlando. And I'm like, I planned one trip.
And you think that your wife, who travels for a living, wouldn't plan so many trips.
Yeah, exactly.
When's a staycation finally happening, right? You know?
You want to know when she finally gets a week at home for a staycation?
2027.
No.
Okay.
This year, Christmas.
Oh, sure.
She took the week off for Christmas. And we told my mother-in-law we're not going up to Colorado.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah. So she had 1 week off in March.
Uh-huh.
Then we did a vacation in... well, we didn't even do a vacation. She was working in May when we went up there to go visit my mother-in-law's for that thing. We did the Chicago trip. Now we have... Oh, I take that back. She has a week off at home because she needs a vacation for her vacation. So it's the week after we get back. She'll be off that week as well because the way her work has it, she has to take the full 2 weeks off, or we would get back that Saturday and she would immediately have to turn around that Monday to go out. So she's like, I'm going to take that extra week off to rest. And I'm like, you crazy woman.
That's hilarious.
Not to mention, she's already got a lot of our trips planned next year. Guess what? We're not staying home.
Nope.
We got a cruise, and we're going to visit a city that we want to go visit. We just don't know which one yet.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to talk about in our outside gaming...
Speaking of traveling,
I just mentioned it a little bit ago. We did a Colorado trip. Why we did a Colorado trip? It's because we were going to go to one of the few shows my wife has always wanted to go. It was for her Christmas gift for one of our favorite bands, Ghost. Before we did all that, we drove up on Monday to go and stayed in Colorado Springs and visited with my in-laws. But I do want to make a shout out, because this is outside gaming, to the two game stores I visited while we were in Colorado. G.A.M.E.R Haven in Colorado Springs. It's one of the stores I always go to when I go visit my in-laws. Picked up a few games there. In fact, I picked up Gamehead Geek's birthday gift from that store. And then after a visit there, we went up to Denver. And again, we stopped at Black and Red because we had to kill some time before we check into our hotel. And that's where I actually broke the bank. And you saw what I came home with. That was a massive board games. But I wanted to give those places a shout out. Black and Red and G.A.M.E.R Haven, Denver and Colorado Springs respectively. Yep. Fantastic places. Go visit them if you're in that areas. Yep. But we went up there Monday through Wednesday. We visited for family. We had a family dinner on Monday with my brother-in-law coming in with his wife and their kid. And we all had dinner together. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, like our family couldn't get the time off because my mother-in-law just had 6 weeks off she had knee surgery earlier, so she just couldn't get the time off for this week because another coworker went out with maternity leave, and it's like, it's fine. We'll figure our stuff out. So on Tuesday, we went to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, which was amazing. They're doing a lot of construction there, so there's parts of it that are cut off because of the construction. We still were able to get down and feed some giraffes, had a good time there. It's one of my favorite zoos to visit because what they did with that zoo, they built it right on the mountain, so a lot of the mountain lion habitat is used by the mountain itself, so it's kind of neat. So that was really cool. Then on Wednesday, we went to Manitou Springs, and right outside Manitou Springs is the Cog Railway that leads you up to Pikes Peak. We went up to the Cogs Railway and went all the way up to Pikes Peak. I sent our gaming group a picture of where I was.
Beautiful image.
And it was funny because we had a joke because my in-laws did warn us that because I'm asthmatic, that I should get a can of the oxygen air while we're in the gift shop type thing. Yeah. So I picked up a thing of canned air, and honestly, I didn't need it because it was very thin up in Pikes Peak. The weather was beautiful in Pikes Peak. I think it was 52 degrees. It was just gorgeous. Oh, yeah. And it was stupid hot in Colorado Springs. It was 96 while I was up there. And so I'm walking around, taking some puffs of the canned air just to survive while I'm up there in the low, thin air and stuff like that. And I was joking with the wife because she was using the air too. And then she walked off into the distance, and I'm like, I got to go follow her. So I got about maybe a quarter of the way to where she's at, and I'm like, this is where I died because she took my air. So I sat down on a rock and waited for her to come to me because she took my air because it was really thin up there for me.
Oh, how romantic. She took your breath away.
Apparently. But no.
I heard the collective ahs from the audience, right?
No, it was a great trip. We had a great time. After we were finished with that, we went and explored Manitou Springs, did some shopping there. My wife got some pendants, and we paid a lot for those pendants. It was
sure.
But I can't say any much. I almost made it equivalency for the board games I got while we were there.
No right to talk.
So, but yeah, it was fantastic. And that was just Colorado Springs. After that was said and done, we went on Thursday. We drove to Denver pretty early, not early-ish in the morning. Oh, by the way, I want to give a shout-out to our favorite place to go eat there when we're in Colorado Springs. It's a place called Sandy's. Has some of the best breakfast while you're up in Colorado Springs. It's over by the airport if you're near there. And they have the best homemade cinnamon roll my wife swears by. We go there because she always wants the cinnamon roll, and she would be disappointed if we didn't. They have great eggs, great food. I've not found anything I disliked at that place. So Sandy's, give them a shout out. But going up to Denver, we went to Black and Red, as I said, and then we grabbed some lunch, got into our hotel, actually got dinner at our favorite restaurant in Denver because it was right around the corner from our hotel. And we went to it's called Rodizio's. It's a Churrasco Brazilian steakhouse, and it is. Oh, so good. It was weird because we were there for the lunch, but we were at the back end of the lunch. Mm-hmm. So we were the only customers in the store. It has a fantastic diet limeade, which is a zero sugar limeade. My wife gets the regular. Fantastic stuff. The meat, the pineapple. If you like Brazilian grills, you would love this place. And it's near where the one place that you like to go in Albuquerque, Foca de Chao.
Yeah.
There's one that's near it. We'd rather go to Rodizio's. That's how much we like this place. Oh. It's a fantastic place. Every time we go there. And the whole reason we went up there is for that Ghost concert. It was a Christmas gift that I got from my wife. I showed her the tickets, and she got super excited that we got tickets. We were on the floor for the Ghost concert at the Ball Arena. We got our hotel for $45 for the night because my wife used her points, and all we paid for was parking, which was the $45 because it was downtown. Sure. We were not even half a mile away from the Ball Arena. We walked from our hotel to the thing, and it took us about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Went to the concert, got on the floor, just mesmerized. My wife, I took some earplugs because I have tinnitus in my ears, and I'm glad I used it because I didn't have any ringing, but I still got to hear the concert pretty well. She did not do that. I gave her a pair too, and she's like, no, I'm going to listen to it all. I'm like, oh, that's on you. I have tinnitus. I'm not. After Baby Metal, and it took me nearly a week to recover from the ringing in my ears, I'm going to have this. Picked up my shirt, picked up some shirt for family members. My wife got herself a tour shirt as well. We had a blast. That was probably one of the best. It's still not the best concert I've ever been to.
Which is?
Tool. Tool is by far one of the most amazing concerts. And the reason, because Tool, and though I will mention something about Ghost here in a minute, Tool is one of the most amazing ones because you really don't see the band. You're just hearing the music because they always have like a curtain or smoke in front of them, and they're just kind of a silhouette on the stage. Maynard, James Maynard, you never see him because he's the singer, but he's not the front man. He's back in the corner somewhere singing the concert to you while the band is just playing out there. Yeah. And it is really cool watching them. And Tool was like one of my favorite experiences because it's just an experience. Yeah. But Ghost is really good too. They put on a heck of a show. In fact, they open up with the big hit from their newest album called Peacefield. And it's the one I showed you that kind of reminds me of... I can't think of the band's name right now. The older band where it's like, I can't think of the name.
It's demonetized now.
Journey. That's the word I'm looking for. It reminds me of the band Journey. Okay. The way it correlates. It was like, and you could tell he's influenced by a lot of the 80 bands. The lead singer.
You can.
Oh yeah, you can. A lot of his stuff. In fact, he has a Genesis cover. Jesus, He Knows Me. He covered that song. Okay. And so it's a fantastic show. And when they're playing Peacefield, for the first part of the thing, there's just a curtain or something in front of it, and you see like slats or slashes in the curtain, and just see lights coming out, and you're hearing them, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then right when it gets to that major part of the song, the curtain drops, and it's just the band and lights and pyro, and it was just amazing. And my wife was having I love the band. wife is obsessed by the band. She's one of those people that when she finds something she likes, she gets obsessive about it. She knows all the lore. She knows all the different papas because he does like a evolution of his character.
Yep.
So every time there's like a couple albums later, he'll start with a new one. So the last one was Papa Emeritus. And that's who he was playing for. It was like Cardinal Copia became Papa Emeritus because it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek on the Catholic Church, just FYI. And so they go in there.
Spoiler alert.
And then the next one, when Papa Emeritus became Pater Imperial or something like that, the Imperial Father, the new one came out, which is Papa Perpetua. And she's saying from what she's going through the whole lore that this might be the last one because Perpetua means forever. So that's what we're looking at, but it was fantastic. It was a great show. The music was great. Then when it was all said and done, we walked back to our hotel, got into bed close to about 11:30 midnight. I took a shower, and we took showers beforehand because I made her ass get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for us to drive back to Cruces because that is a 10-hour drive. We made decent time. I texted you. And we had gotten back by like 3:30, and you're like, "Dude, what time did you leave?" And I'm like, 5. We woke up at 5 and left our hotel about 5:30. Yeah. And you're like, "Good Lord!" And you could tell my wife was mad at me when you came over to pick up your stuff. You're like, "How's it going?" She's like, "It was good." You're just like, so we started talking.
Anyway,
you want to go say hi to Jim and the wife?
Nope.
But yeah, that was my outside gaming, is this fantastic Colorado trip to visit family and going to a concert. That was the main reason. We were going to this concert regardless. But I told my wife, well, you already got the week off. Why don't we spend it with your mom and give her a couple more times? Come to find out, one of her next job sites, actually next week, she'll be back in Denver. So she's going to be visiting her mom again.
There you go.
So good for her. But yeah, that was my outside gaming. It was a great experience. Can't wait. I forgot to mention this on the Ghost concert. First concert I've been to since I was a kid where there was no cell phones in the way. Ghost has a thing where they have with a company called Yonder, and he learned this when he did they did like a video movie filmed in what was the Staples Center, but I think it's the Forum or something like that in LA, where you cannot use your phones, and they lock them in this thing called a Yonder, YONDR, and it locks it in there, and then when you leave, they unlock it, and you get your phone out. You get to carry it the whole time. It comes with a lanyard. I just kept mine in my pocket, and it locks the phone away when you get in there. And so what they do is most people carry their phones digitally, right? So they have people come out there, and they'll write where you're sitting, what seat you're sitting in, and you hand it in, and you go in there, and you get the Yonder case. They told you to hold on to that thing, and that's what they're checking the entire time. So you have this little paper thing in your pocket every time you leave your seat and come back in, because we were on the floor. They have to check your ticket, and so yeah, it was weird to me because I remember going to concerts in the early aughts when I was like 16, 17, 18. Yeah, there'd be and you would basically like flip phones, and I'm like, why are you guys recording on that? It's probably gonna look like crap. And then I started going to concerts in the late 2000s and the teens, and it's like just nothing but this. Like, I remember talking to the wife, she's like, you didn't record a lot of stuff when we went to the Baby Metal concert. And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to experience. I got a couple things, I got a couple pictures, but I go to concerts to experience the concert. Right. And it was kind of nice to be at this concert and not having to go, I'm not here to watch your screen. It was nice. I actually got to watch the entire stage and not have little phones in my way the entire time. Yeah. And so the way they get around it, because like a lot of rock bands, remember the old lighters? Well, they don't have lighters anymore. Right. So they sell these little watch things that light up, and you just wave your hand in the air, and it lights up like a lighter. And so I was like, I can handle that. That is cool and stuff like that. Yeah. And immersive. Yeah, it was more immersive. I got to enjoy the show. We have one picture of us at the concert because it was a blow-up doll of the Papa Perpetua outside as one of those little wacky wavy guys, but it was like a little blow-up thing right outside where they were selling the merch outside. Took their picture, and then they took our phone away. Yep. So, but honestly, I would love to go to another concert where they lock up the phones. As much as I love to take pictures of that say, hey, there's the thing in there, I'm one of the few people that I'll take a couple pictures and then my phone's away for the rest of the thing. Yeah. I'm not sitting there recording the whole thing to put it up on my TikTok or my Instagram because I want to experience the show. That's what I'm going for. I want to listen to the music and watch the show. So highly recommend more shows doing that. I highly recommend it. In fact, you don't have to lock it right away. Maybe let them get into the show and then come around before the show's supposed to start and have everybody lock up their phones. Then this way they could take pictures around the stage or some of the stuff they're seeing. But honestly, I think it's amazing not to have phones in my way while I'm trying to watch the show. That's the old man in me, but people, this generation don't get to really experience shows how we experienced it growing up.
Right.
Because you literally got to listen to the music and watch the shows. And you know what cameras you used to have back in the day? It was like those little manual ones where you had to wind it up, take a picture, the instant ones.
Yep.
And so that's all you saw. So you had 30 pictures. If you took multiple cameras in that, you're still not going to have a freaking screen in your way the whole time. So yeah, no, it was a fantastic show. More places need to have the no phone shows. I love that.
No phone shows. I like that.
All right, so moving on, we have an interesting board game brainstorm that we haven't talked about in the top of the thing. We just went into it.
I was just about to say, it's like we didn't even say what today's episode is.
Yeah.
We just went right into recapping. No,
you can tell we've been off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we get rusty from time to time. Board Game Brainstorm, we're going to be talking about Colt Express today. And, just like everything, we like to break down games. This is now the 10th anniversary of when it came out.
When they won
winning the Spiel.
The Spiel des Jahres.
Yep.
Because we tried to, June and July, we tried to do the 10-year anniversary of the Spiel des Jahres and the Kinderspiel and do the breakdown of the 10-year anniversary. We didn't do it in July this past time because we decided we wanted to do Risk for the Independence Day, stuff like that. Sure. It worked there. So I'm like, all right, I'll be nice, and I'll move it to August and stress out then, while you stressed out in July doing Risk.
Right, exactly. And then, so we're going to give you 5 recommendations for each one based on our G.A.M.E.R criteria, which we'll break down here in a minute. How much crossover do you think we're going to have?
Maybe 2, maybe.
Maybe 2, maybe. Okay.
So I messed up something here. I put the wrong name, but I know what I meant here.
Yeah. How many do you think you'd be able to guess off of mine?
1 for sure. The rest of your stuff, I don't know, because in all honesty, you play this more than mine. I think the one I think is a crossover. It's probably the one that is going to go into one section. You might have it in a different section, but it will be a full crossover.
Okay. And I guess 2 of yours I think will be on yours. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll reveal as that comes on.
So,
but for now, let's talk about what Colt Express is, right?
1 second, though. Remember when you were talking about when we did Risk for and you're like, there's going to be some hear me outs at the top of the thing. You're like, there's going to be some hear me outs. This is my hear me out category. For one thing, I realized I'm not a big fan of programming games, which is what Colt Express at its core really is.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of Colt Express. I think I've made my feelings known about that. Yep. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's a fine game. It's because everything's so damn tiny and I got these big giant sausage fingers. Yep. I can't move my meeple from inside the train to put it on top of the train without knocking crap over.
So they sell this cool thing where it's called like snacks.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where it's like the chopsticks you put on your fingers. I'm going to have to start using that for...
Yeah, exactly. Move meeples with it, to eat a Cheeto, then eat a meeple, then move a Cheeto. You're like, no, not again.
That's the 3rd meeple this week.
I'm going to go buy a new set. But yeah, so let's talk about what Colt Express is. So it's a Spiel des Jahres winner 2015. And it is and you're shaking your head. So it has a 3D train.
What was the ones it went up against?
I don't remember off the top of my head. But either way, yeah, I know there was like one other that probably should have won.
Right, yeah.
But either way, like it's kind of a programming game. And the way it works is that all you have to do is you have a meeple on the train that's running away right now, and you're trying to run around, shoot, punch the other outlaws, and try to get the most, basically the most money, the most loot. There's also a $1,000 thing in the engine where there's a sheriff, and then if you ever enter the same room as the sheriff, then you jump away, and then he startles you, and then like the passengers riot against you. And then there's also some cards that come out at the beginning of each round before you do your programming that sometimes you'll go through a tunnel and you won't see what other people are playing. So you play your cards face down. Or other ones, you might actually see just different effects where you play 2 cards back to back because you're speeding up. Or at the end of the round, like everybody who's on top of the train gets knocked to the back or whatever. there's a bunch of cool things that are going on with it. It's a really silly game. I get why you don't like it, why you're not the biggest fan. But overall, I mean, it has one of the coolest table presences, though.
It does have a cool table presence. Highly obnoxious that this just to save up their whole this would be wasted space if we didn't use it. They give you useless scenery pieces in your punch board.
They do give you 3D scenery, but it adds to the flavor and the table front. And it has the coolest promo in almost any game. There is a DeLorean promo that you can put at the front of the engine. I forgot about that. Which is hilarious. It's a cardboard DeLorean, and it's one of the coolest things in the world.
And it does nothing. It's just scenery.
No, there's actually a function for it.
No, there's not.
No, there is.
No,
there is. I promise.
No.
It's another spot to move on to, and I think there's actually something that you can do with it.
No.
I just have it because it's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah. But right. with that being said, we're going to get into this. This is going to be ridiculous because, and again, caveat, hear me out for most of these.
Yeah. And welcome,
Turtle Ages.
Turtle Ages. Welcome for joining us on the chat. All right, we'll flip the coin of doom. That'll decide who goes first. And we'll start with our first criteria, game immersion, and that's you.
Game immersion, when we're talking about this one, is the game fun to lose? Does it have player interaction, whether it's table talk or role-playing or memorable moments? And Colt Express really incorporates this big part of it because the game is fun to lose. You're having a good time. It's like, how dare you punch me or whatever, the slugfest that you're doing on top of the train and trying to throw that person off the train, that kind of thing. There's that player interaction because you're arguing with each other as you're trying to duke it out or trying to have a duel on top of the train or in the train car while you have to fight the NPCs within the train car. And those are those memorable moments too, like when the sheriff shows up and then you go into the tunnel and you're not sure what's going on, that kind of thing. It has a lot of that game immersiveness of it, which gives you kind of that Western feel, sort of. But don't worry, this is not a Western one. I just wanted to give you a game that has that player interaction, where it has that egging on kind of situation, where you're kind of going head to head, but not really, because you're trying to see if your friend can keep going, or if you need to jump ship and get those points there. And the one I picked is Celestia. More so for the fun, immersiveness of it that you get. It is a fantastic little push your luck. You're trying to determine when it's best to bail out to get your specific treasure. Sure. The longer that you can last of your opponent, it's like, ooh, does he have the cards in his hand to match the dice roll that he's going to throw, or do I need to jump out right now? And it's like, and you're kind of bluffing a little bit, kind of like how you do in Colt Express, but you're more along the lines like you're looking at the person who's the pilot, and you're like, no, you know what? I'm going to keep going. Let's go. Let's see what happens. He's like, I don't have it. And that's okay. I got a jetpack. Screw you, man. So I loved everything about this game. I think it's fun. It gives a lot of that game immersion feel where you want the craziness that you get from Colt Express. I think Celestia does it. And I think it's just getting a reprint here soon. I heard news about a reprint coming out. I think so. You can find it still in stores. I've seen it a couple times, actually. I think I saw it at Black and Red the other day while I was there. So you can still find it in stores. So my pick for game immersion is Celestia.
Cool. And yeah, Turtle, the old game shop showing it off, that's cool because it's a really clever little game. I get why some people don't like it as much, but I think it's a really clever. If you like silliness, if you like that, which is why for my game immersion, this one
I went with silliness.
You did, yeah, you did absolutely. That's a mostly silly game. This one has it. One of my favorite things about Colt Express. Let me explain why I picked this one mostly. Is that there are times where you program cards and you don't have but a choice to shoot somebody or punch somebody. That's just how the cookies crumbled. And you're like, I'm doing something absolutely terrible to this other player, making them a target or indirectly making me a target because of what I did to them. But I kind of didn't have a choice in that because that's just how the card's laid. And it's not super random because you're programming it, but when people are playing face down, you don't know what's going to be some of the outcomes, and that's on purpose. So, what I picked was also a Western one. Even though theme isn't one of the game immersion criteria, I feel like this brings out the theme of an old Western shootout This is Bang the Dice game.
Yeah, I thought this was the other one that was on my short list for game immersion.
It makes sense because, you're trying to get the most points, but the way on your last roll, if you just happen to roll got bullets, then you're shooting people, or you might suffer some arrow damage or whatever, right? There's all sorts of these fun interactions that play it out, not because you could have controlled it, but because that's just sillier that way, and it really brings out that flavor. It plays a big group, just like Colt Express does, and it has that Western theme, so game immersion was kind of a no-brainer.
Cool. All right, moving into art in production.
I played a few games for those demos. Please let us know what kind of demos you guys have done and what games you've played. Art and production. Starting with you again.
All right, we're talking about art and production. This is easy. The art. Again, art is subjective, but there are some that are better than others. And Colt Express has some decent art in it. The pieces and components. It's got a 3D train, cardboard pieces, but thick cardboard. Some good meeples in there as well, and some good cardstock. So pieces and components are good. And here's the thing. You and me are both colorblind. We've mentioned this on many podcasts for the last 6 years. People know this for a fact. This is a big, important one for us, is the graphic design. If we can't tell what certain things are, you're going to get a knock for it. And so the game I picked here hits every single one of these categories. The art is fantastic. The pieces and components are amazing. This is the only one that is kind of not in print anymore. I think you could still find copies of it. I've seen copies in stores and stuff like that. Yeah. It is large and in charge, and the graphic design is made by people who make video games. This is Mechs versus Minions. The art is great in this game. It is a fun little campaign style with gorgeous minis, and they kept it at a relatively decent price point for the time. I think it was back in the day, it was like $90 to $100 for what they were giving you. And this thing was a massive box
game nowadays.
Yeah, it's massive box, chunky miniatures, really well sculpted, and they're pre-painted if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. So you get pre-painted minis no less.
They're basically the size of like Funko Pops now.
The little miniature Funko Pops that you got like in Funkoverse, that was the size of where they were, if not a little bit bigger. And the boss monsters were pretty large too. Yeah. So it's got some gorgeous graphic design on here. You and me can see it pretty darn well. This is one of the few programming games that I can play. And one of my favorite moments of this game is when I was first learning, because it was like one of the first programming games I played. My stupid robot kept going in a freaking circle. Yep. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get it going right. I'm like, I thought I did this better. I guess not.
Guess not.
Because I did this and I did this, and it's like, but no. Mechs vs. Minions. I think this is the one for sure. I think is on your list as well.
Okay, so my art in production was a game that is no longer in print, but was also a Spiel des Jahres winner. At least I'm fairly certain it's not in print anymore. But what it has a cool piece that works just really well for it. It's another mode of transportation. This is called Niagara. And the game...
Wow!
Yeah, I know. The way the game works is pretty simple. You have effectively a dual layer board that's on like the bottom of the box, right? And you put the box upside down. That creates the waterfall of Niagara. And... Or no, I'm sorry. You put the board over the two boxes, and so the way it works is that you have this cool waterfall, and you have this track where a bunch of plastic clear discs go there, and as you're moving on and off of the discs, those spaces then start sliding down. There's a certain number that gets slid down every turn, and if you happen to fall off the waterfall, oh well. The shame on you for getting that risky. But, of course, the farther down the water there is, the more valuable treasures you might be able to pull off. So it's this fun give and take. It's fun luck. But I love how it's like it took a nature theme and made it very silly. It's almost like a Roadrunner cartoon, right? Of like how cheesy it looks. But then you have a really nice component that's made just for that. And it's not just for the ooh and ah, making it look good, but it really is made for just that function. It's made to move spaces along. It's made to fall off the waterfall. And the reason you put it up on the box is because literally when the disc comes off the edge, it has an audible clank as it falls off onto the table, which is awesome. The trains in Colt Express that's one of the reasons I like it, is because, yeah, they're really cool looking, but you do have an above the train and an inside the train, and those are functional. You know, that's a thing you can simulate with the card game did it, but that's not something it's just so much easier if you have the piece for it. So that was one of the very first ones of this list that I thought of. I was like, Niagara, I compare the two pretty often.
Yeah, so Mechs vs. Minion was the first game I looked at, and then my Ease of Play was the second one.
Yep.
And the other three I struggled for.
Yeah, the Ease of Play was... I actually waffled on whether I wanted to put this one. Yeah, you'll see. Next one, we have Meaningful Choice.
Still with me. Meaningful Choice is impact on other players. Depth of strategy, tactics, or skills. Or do arbitrary choices, or may AP make a negative impact on the gameplay. And so the one I pick here, and this is like one of the first hear me outs on this list, because it's not really programming, and it doesn't really have the table presence that Colt Express is, and it's actually a lot more thinky than Colt Express. And this is one that I mainly play at 2 players, but I heard it goes up to 4. I've only ever played 2 players on this one. This is Hiroshima Hex. And the reason I put it in here is because you have to kind of program your shooting aspect of it. When you lay your tile out, you have to make sure you built the right kind of pattern to go after your opponent to do the damage that you needed to do. Because you're basically going head-to-head and trying to destroy the base of your opponent in this little hexagonal grid as you're drawing tiles and placing them out. And you want to place them out in a certain way for them to fire, or try to lay a trap for them to send their troops into your specific area. And it is like, oh, I have this piece here. It shoots straight, and it goes up this hex, and it goes up this hex. So I got to make sure I'm sending these shots in the right area, and it's not getting in the way of some of my other stuff that I'm trying to lay out here. It has that little bit of programming when it comes to like trying to program your attacks just right to try to take down the life points of your opponent, as well as trying to kill some of his troops before they come into your little hexagonal area. But it's also has a lot of asymmetry because each of these different factions play different, so you got to know how your specific things work. You have people who are really good at defending, and then you have another group that are really good at overwhelming numbers and stuff like that. So you have to be smart on how you're playing this one. If you don't believe me, try the app, and this will show you why I think this fits, because it has a lot of that programming aspect of it where you have to think strategically how you're using your specific troops and soldiers and how your asymmetrical characters play. The line of sight is very strict in this game. Very strict, and it doesn't have as much like the fun and the depth that you would get from Colt Express, because that is just like a tongue-in-cheek, we're robbing a train kind of thing. Oh. This is a straight battle system that follows that aspect when you're trying to like, do I shoot this guy now? Do I program it to take 2 steps and punch the sheriff in the mouth right before we go into the tunnel, and this way I can run away kind of thing? It gives you that kind of aspect here. And it's basically you just want to take out your opponent's headquarters, and how you do it the best way possible is where I think all that chunky strategy, that tactics, that skills, the impact on other players, because you have to take out their headquarters. That's why it's in here. But mind you, this was a hard one for me. So,
I mean, I won't criticize this because I haven't played Hiroshima Hex. With that being said, the only thing that's going through my mind, and this I don't think this is a criticism. I never thought it's like, hey, you like Colt Express? You should try Hiroshima Hex.
Yeah, I know.
It almost rhymes. Like, that's about, like, the comparison I made, right?
But
again, I'm not going to criticize
it's
that.
More because, like, if you like the way the programming works, but you want something more tactical.
You want some meatier?
Yeah, sure. You want something meatier. This is how you do it, because you have to make sure you're programming your attacks just right.
Fair enough. See, I consider, like, yeah, it's programming, right? But it's really more, like, play and response. So I wanted something that was, like the big thing about Colt Express is that you're like, okay, I know you're going to move left or right.
Yeah.
I don't know which direction. Are you going to move towards the front of the train or towards the back of the train? I don't know that. So I'm going to plan accordingly and go and use this backup. I'm going to do a safe move and do this, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you're edging your bets for. So I was like, I want a programming game where you can kind of assume the worst and then have some backup programmed into it. So I went with Robo Rally. And
see, I never played that. That's why I didn't get them on this.
That's fair. Robo Rally is just absolutely silly. You're literally going from station to station to station. The first one to get to all stations wins. Mm-hmm. But there's so many shenanigans. Like, you might fire a laser, or you might, like, go onto you might actually move on to like a conveyor belt, which moves you along. You might actually move next to a pit where somebody might push you into, because you can push other robots. And it's just absolute silliness. And part of the charm of that game, if you're really a strategic player, you're going to hate Robo Rally. But part of the charm is that knowing it's like, hey, no matter how good your strategy gets, sometimes shenanigans happen. Plan some backups just in case. Try not to make it too catastrophic. And good luck, right? But
this is,
if silly happens, silly happens.
Richard Garfield? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Richard Garfield, before Magic the Gathering, he made this game. He didn't print it before that, but he did make this game.
Don't they have like a Transformer version of this one now? I think Renegade has it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, it seems interesting to me. I am not a huge fan of like these programming games.
What other programming games have you played, if any? Well, I mean, one might come up. But...
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, right. We'll discuss this in the after show.
Yeah.
Got it. Now let's go on to ease of play. Finally, me. All right. So with ease of play, we talk about simplicity and familiarity with the mechanisms, likelihood to get to the table, whether that's mechanism or theme, and is it easy to understand, learn, or teach? And yes, Turtle Aegis, I agree. Pre-painted minis, whatever. Ease of play. I picked... Very rarely do I go ones that are significantly easier, because Colt Express is easy to play.
Quite simple, yeah.
It's very easy game to play. And part of the fun is you could play at random and just see what happens, which is hilarious when that happens.
I think we might have a crossover here.
We might. And this one is, you are not programming anything. You're making some choices before it, but then the game programs itself. This is Challengers.
Oh, no, it's not.
Really? Okay. Another Kenner Spiel des Jahres, ironically enough. Easier than Colt Express. Anyway,
go pay attention to our Chits and Giggles earlier this month, to explain.
Yeah, that'll explain everything. But no, Challengers, I thought it was just, it's that same level of silliness. It's easy to teach. It's a twist on something that's pretty familiar, The game of war. Yeah, Game of War. It's like, you're just it's a tug of war, you're going back and forth. First person to actually get it wins, no problem. But... It's easy enough where you're like, all right, make some choices. If you don't really know, do what you think sounds fun, and then we'll just see how it works, right?
Yeah.
And so Challengers just worked really well for that. I liked it. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like you set up the game and then the game plays itself.
Yeah.
Auto player or
whatever. It's programming. You're programming the game to play itself.
Yeah, more or less, right? You're just trying to edge the bets and then auto battler. That's what it's called. So you're trying to edge your bets and try to go, okay, what's the best options I got? All right, let's see if this works at all. And it's just silly. And it has the same levity that Colt Express has. And I feel like a lot of people would be willing to come to the table just to try. It's like don't come here if you're wanting a serious game.
Yeah.
But if you want something that these people are hooting and hollering about, I think it's up there. So... Challengers is the newest one to my list, and I think it stands pretty strong.
Mine's one of the older games on my list, I think. I think Celestia and Hiroshima Hex might be older, but it came around the time those came out, and it still sells well. In fact, it actually has an IP on this one now. It is a quick little game about being mob bosses and trying to split the loot. When you were saying you can let the game play itself, you have a certain amount of bullets in your deck, and you have mostly misses. And this is Cash in Guns.
This is a good pick.
Specifically second edition.
Yep.
One, it's very simple. It's like I point at somebody, whether it's a wand, if you do the Harry Potter version, or a gun in this case, and we're basically trying to see if you're in or you're out. Did I put down a bullet or did I put down a miss? That kind of thing. And it's basically a game of chicken throughout the entire table. Yep. This holds a lot of players too, just like Colt Express does. I think this holds up 8?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And if you get other expansions, you can hold up a little bit more from this game. It is always ready. A lot of people are always ready to play this one. Yeah, there's a bit of an issue with, you're pointing foam guns at each other.
Sure.
And if you don't like that aspect, there is a Harry Potter, and there's a whole other thing about that.
Yeah, but you're also shooting each other in Colt Express, too. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're looking for recommendations.
Yeah, here you go. But it is going to get to the table pretty quickly because party games tend to. It's got that lot of rip-roaring shenanigans that you would be expecting from Colt Express. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like being the chaos player, and I'm like, I'm just shuffling my deck. I don't know what this card is. What card is this? Is it a bullet or is it a miss? I don't know.
Have you been counting?
And so it is very easy to teach. It's like, all right, here's the thing. You're trying to get these treasures. You're trying to make sure you get your split. You're going to point a gun at somebody, and they may have the, like, was it the mob boss would be allowed to, you point over there now, or something like that. There's special abilities sometimes.
Yeah, Godfather.
Yeah. And so then you have a choice before we flip those cards. Are you in or are you out? If you duck out, you get nothing, but you don't get shot. But if you're in and it's a hit, you're out of the split. If it's a double miss, yeah, you still get into the thing. We shot at each other, but there was nothing in the in the thing. So it's kind of that little bluffing. That is one of the few bluffing games I do enjoy.
Yeah.
The little shenanigans is a fantastic party game. Cash and Guns, my ease of play.
Cool. And our final category is replay value. And replay value breaks down to length of time and scaling well, minimum number of plays for the full experience, and the expandability, whether it's pre-existing expansions or upcoming announced by them. So we don't, for most of our debates, we also don't count spin-offs too. Mm-hmm. But Colt Express does have a card game spin-off, Super Colt Express, mm-hmm. which kind of simulates the same one. It's like a similar one. I picked a game that, out of the base game, you could play it a number of times. It's not going to repeat itself. It plays a large scaling, and it's pretty quick no matter what the scaling is. This game also plays 7, which Colt Express plays 6 or 7 as well. I think 6, but it might play up to 7. So almost the same range in a similar amount of time.
There's a couple expansions for Colt Express too, right?
There is, and there's a couple expansions for this game, and there's also a mini version of this game, and there's also promos that are pretty wild as well. Do you know what it is?
No.
It's a very different game. Mysterium.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense, right? But it's...
No crossover, then.
I think... No crossover, yeah. And so, Mysterium was the one where I was like, okay. It was one of my last picks, but I was like, Colt Express is almost a party game with how silly it is, right? Mm-hmm. It plays a large group, some shenanigans are happening, but it has great pieces, it plays well, people are drawn to the table with it, right? And it scales really well, actually. Mysterium also scales really well. The minimum number of plays, like you're going to get a lot of replay value just by changing stuff in and out.
Couple expansions as well.
Yep.
A lot of promos.
A lot of promos, yep. And it has the mini version with Mysterium Park. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this is kind of a shoo-in. Like, as far as like just the numbers game, I think it makes sense. I think a lot of similar players that want more of a somber, less silly thing, that I can see Colt Express and Mysterium both being brought out in the same game day. I really can. And because it plays the same number of groups, so the group would probably work really well. So that's why I picked it, Mysterium. That's my replay value.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I thought about Mysterium, but it didn't give me that same kind of feel. Other than, it has a lot of the expansions and stuff like that. I get it. I did think of it, but it's just... I'd rather play Mysterium than Colt Express, so...
Sure.
I'm not going to degrade it. In all honesty, it just for me, Colt Express is basically that quintessential.
So what's your replay value?
The quintessential programming game.
Okay.
So my replay value is a game that does have an expansion. In fact, it came with it when you backed the game itself. It came out with one little expansion. It has a great production. Has a small table presence, but it's a pretty nice looking table presence, and it's one of your favorite series of games. This is Tiny Epic Mechs from Scott
I briefly thought about this
in Gameland Games. It is fun.
It has some more depth to it, though.
Yeah,
a lot more.
But it has that. It does have an expansion. It has a lot of depth. There is a lot of the programming. Like I said, there's only 2 programming games on my list.
Yep. And
I was like, okay, I have to get Tiny Epic Mechs in here because it has that programming. It does give you that feel. I even told you when we played it, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'd rather play it than Colt Express.
Sure.
that kind of thing. And for such a small game, the production value is really, really good. Yeah, it is a fun game. Don't get me wrong. The programming, it's just because I can't get that is the one of the few games that my brain just cannot grok.
Yeah.
I struggle with programming games. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why is my mech spinning in a circle? It's like, I went left and right. Why am I in a circle now?
Yep.
It's because I went left and right and I got in this thing and it sent me over here.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm literally in the same spot I started in because I took this long convoluted thing around the map. And that's how it feels to me. But I have a good time with this game when it gets played. It is a fantastic programming game, and I think it does programming better than some other games do. Other than, I think Mechs vs. Minions is by far the best programming game out there. But Tiny Epic Mechs, they did a fantastic job. Plus, these little itty-bitty little mechs, they're so cute. Yeah. So, that is my replay value pick.
Cool. Yeah, some of the ones that I thought you were going to pick Western Legends for game immersion, or Flip Towns.
I thought Western Legends, but even though it has the same theme,
right?
And it does have a train in it, but that's not a big part of the game.
Yeah.
It's more open world. Like, if I was gonna pick, like, say something like Vantage, Western Legends would be in there because it's so open world. You can do whatever you want, kind of thing. Tiny Epic Mechs, Western Legends compared to Colt Express, it has the same theme. It doesn't really, and I don't really feel Western in Colt Express. I feel like this could be robots battling in an arena, and it would feel exactly the same. They just put a Western theme on it.
Now, to make you feel better, my meaningful choice was Mechs vs. Minions. I didn't change it after you said it. I had about to roll it out. No, I did, because you see how I thought about challengers multiple times. I'm like, oh, maybe I should go in there. So yeah, I mean, that was definitely as far as meaningful choice went, because it's the same kind of silliness, so I get it.
I just went with art and production because, one, it is a fantastic looking game. It's got the table presence that Colt Express. I've seen people, when people were playing it at a con or just at a game shop, people be like, oh, what is that? And it's because it's got these beautiful pre-painted minis in there, and people are looking at it as like, oh, this is how it comes out of the box. I didn't paint these. This is how it came, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the other one I thought of, what is that? Magical Labyrinth, I think is what it's called, or Magic Maze. It's like an Arcane Wonder one where it's got like a little marble thing, and you're trying to, I can't remember what it's called, but I thought about it.
A marble thing, like where you're tilting the board?
The board, that's Labyrinth, but it's kind of like a version of Labyrinth, but it's Magic Maze, and you're trying to make sure you're programming it right and knocking over creatures before your thing goes in the hall. And I forget, I think it's like an Arcane Wonders.
Oh, no, but like you push a little tab and it lifts the side of the board.
Yeah.
Slide Quest.
There we go, that's what it was. I was thinking that might be on your list.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
It's the kind of shenanigans that you like.
It is the kind of shenanigans I like. I'm not going to lie on that. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode, and hopefully this has given you some ideas for if you like Colt Express, if you're a fan of it, unlike my partner here. But
I talk about games I'm not a huge fan of, but...
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't hate Colt Express as much as you. I have issues with it.
As much as I love the game.
But I rate it a fair to midland. I think it's like a 6 or 7. Sure. It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it quite a bit, and it's just always right every time. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas. Mm-hmm. If you enjoy that game, or even if you don't and you're looking for alternatives, hopefully this might
My list helps you out a little. If you're like me, where it's like, it's fine, but it's not something I need, here's some objects for you. If you like what kind of does, but you want something a little more meaty or something a little different, here you go.
So, if you ever want to email us directly, you sure can. We have an email, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. And you can email us whether you want to give us ideas for future episodes, enter in contests that may or may not be running at the time, or to just reach out and say hello. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where you can follow us and see some of the games that we've been playing together as a group, and also some of the silly random posts that we tend to post.
And speaking of contests, pay attention next week. Just letting everybody know. All video re-uploads and reviews are found on YouTube under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Please make sure you follow us there so that way you'll be notified when we join on our live episodes. And we love it when people join us on our live taping. Just like Turtle Aegis, thank you for joining us today, and anybody else who joined us in today's episode.
As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. Listen to Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.